But this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome everyone to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today, joined by Larry Sharp, the other host of A Free Solution.
I'm here, Larry Sharp, happy to have you all here on WYSL, WENY/I, Elmira Corning, and of course, WACK, Newark, New York, not New Jersey.
That's right, Newark, New York. So Larry and I are together for this first show of A Free Solution. Now, it's still mostly the same show as the Radio Free New York. We even kept the same music as Radio Free New York. And we just wanted to have a slightly different emphasis about where we want to go with the show and what this show is all about. And so we wanted to keep it focused on how do we find solutions rooted in liberty. It's not just looking back. It's not just complaining about government. It's about how do we find solutions that make our world a better place.
Oh, but I wanna complain and whine. Come on.
It is fun. And you know, I'm not going to lie, right? Like, you know, like there's a good chance we're going to complain / bring up stuff about Governor Cuomo today because that is probably our favorite topic. But, you know, we got to keep focused on, like, what do we want to do next? What's the actual solution here? How are we going to make lives better and not just, government stinks?
I'm with you. And the other thing that I always think about is, you know, the word free moves people. And I'm hoping that it will trigger some people and go, there's no such thing as a free lunch. That's my hope that it will. But the free in this is the idea of liberty, right? The idea of freedom. It's the idea that we can actually create solutions without having it be, oh, let's make the government do it and let's pay more taxes or let's force people to make things happen or any of those things. I think we really can do it. I spent what? Come on, Kevin. You were right next to me. I spent what, an hour. I spent a year and a half trying to get this done across the state in 2017 and 2018.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you've been working for this on years. And,
yes.
You know, we both have.
Yep.
Right. And when we talk to politicians, most of the solution is, well, we have to do something. We have to take action. Government has to take a lead role into fixing all the problems of our society.
And the worst part about this is what it winds up happening is it makes us almost like beggars. And I know that sounds horrible, but that's what winds up happening. And you see it now with the COVID response. Government now has shut us down to a point where we're all suffering. And it's rare to find anyone who's saying, okay, how do we get ourselves out of it? What most people are saying is, well, then now the federal government has to give us more help. So the state government crushes us, and then so now we beg for the federal government to help us? That's what individuals are doing, not just our governor, who of course has his hand out. But also I find average New Yorkers going, I can't survive unless the government gives me money now. I feel like we've almost turned our culture into one that accepts punishment from one government organization to then beg for help from the other one.
I mean, Larry, are you familiar with the concept of learned helplessness?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, that's what I feel like our government has conditioned us to do. It's like, well, what are we going to do? Well, we have to just wait for someone to come and bail us out because you've gotten into this mentality that, like, you're not able to go and help yourselves and help your community and take action without government permission or resources. Like, we've conditioned ourselves to be locked into this toxic mindset that really makes our community suffer, makes individuals suffer, and makes us lose opportunities for success.
Yes, and it goes actually to almost a community level. By the way, for those of you who care about learned helplessness, there's actually a book on it by a guy named Martin Seligman. So if any of you care, you can just go on Amazon or something, or wherever, your local bookstore if they still exist. You can go there and get that if you're interested. But I think your point's a valid one, not just at the individual level, but even at the community level. We have communities who have been helped, I'm doing air quotes, for so long that they don't even know how to help themselves anymore. That institutional knowledge is gone. It's been destroyed. You can see it very openly here when it comes to kids being in school now. When the kids have to go home and be basically homeschooled, many communities don't know how to homeschool because we haven't supported homeschooling and private schooling in New York for so long that there's no community support or limited community support. This should have been something that where when the kids went home, the communities go, oh yeah, Bob and Jane, they're homeschooling their kids. Oh, and Phil and Louie, they're homeschooling their kids too. Why don't we have some of these guys help us out? And this shouldn't be such a crazy change, but it is.
That would be nice, but I imagine that there's probably some government impediments to that in some situations.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it is, because like, oh, well, the government says you can't do this. So now parents are stuck in a very difficult situation. And so how do we, again, empower parents and empower communities to build these networks that can support one another without having to wait for, well, we just got to open up the schools or you have no other option. And that's what many parents are looking at.
100%. And the worst part of this is when we start to do it, government begins to shut us down. It begins to actually hurt us and try to stop us from doing it. Because if we actually do it, then we've literally made government not as powerful as they want it to be. So when you find people doing it, they stop you, right? One of the things that's hurt us tremendously, you will find people say, well, there are some local community centers and community groups that are doing help, but they need government funding now. Why? Because they were government funded in the first place. And a government-funded nonprofit isn't actually a community issue. It's not a community event. It's not a community organization. It's a government organization because it's funded by the government, which means it has government strings attached. So you're actually not learning anything in your community. The government's giving you all of the rules and regulations, so you're just another arm of the government. We actually require more actual community where that you don't have to worry about government support. It's local support or even local wealthy person support. That still works. If Janice has an accounting firm that she runs and she's got 4 or 5 employees making some cash, well, if she wants, she can help out the local community and help out those small businesses. And you know what? If we have more small businesses in local communities, that would happen naturally.
That's a great thing. Like wealth kind of builds on each other, right? Like again,
Yes.
And that's something that's so hard to understand. People think as you start to get a society that's wealthier, that the poor get poorer when the rich get richer. No, people spread these resources around. They want to help their community. They want to help their neighbors. And it's not even just charitable. It's about, well, if you help other people, succeed and have the resources they need to build a successful life, that's also going to increase your wealth too.
Well, there are 2 pieces to making people who are poor less poor, right? And then eventually, hopefully, middle class and hopefully wealthy. We all help. The first one is you want to support local. Here's the problem. I remember when I was a kid in the Bronx. I grew up in a bad neighborhood in South Bronx in the 70s. And it wasn't a good neighborhood. But I still remember most of the stores were locally owned. So the people who lived there lived in the community. They got money from the community. They knew each other. All those things happened. When one stupid kid would rob from the local store, they knew who the kid's parents were. And they would say, bring your mom here because your mom shops here. And the mom would come in and say, see, what's this kid doing? And you could actually fix this. You could actually make change and learn and teach. Those days are long gone. Now I'll go back to my neighborhood. It's almost all franchises, which means the person who runs it doesn't own it. They're a manager hired by somebody who doesn't live there, and all the money goes out to someplace else. People don't know each other. There's no connection. And there's no chance for someone who's made a mistake to get a job. If you were dumb in the 70s in my neighborhood and you got a marijuana charge or something, if people knew you, they still hire you at the local pizza shop. But now try to make that happen at some of these franchises. They have rules. Oh, you have a felony conviction? Nope, no hire. What are the kids supposed to do? How do they grow? How do they learn? All that money's leaving the community. That's a critical piece that we don't talk about.
Absolutely. It's a checkbox. And again, what's important to keep in mind is not just like greedy corporations. Government policy created this, right?
Yes.
And that's the important thing to keep in mind, because the solution ends up being, again, oh, well, we got to get the government to stop these greedy corporations. No, 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 no. The government created the problem in the first place.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
the issue. So, that's, we're running out of time, but like that's, what this show is going to be about, is we want to focus on, those positive solutions that are rooted in freedom. And when we come back, I'll read off a few of the comments that we're getting online, and we'll continue to talk about that, and maybe we'll apply some of these solutions in some of the current events today. All right, so thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution with Kevin Wilson and Larry Sharp.
I'm here, 585-346-3000.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
When you've been seriously injured in a car crash, you need a lawyer who knows how to beat the big insurance companies. Call me and I'll take them on so you can focus on your health and family.
Car crash, call Salino. Salino, call Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester.
Rochester's only NCAA Division II athletic scholarship program wants you. Our Life in the Balance approach to athletics will provide you with an opportunity to succeed in the classroom and in your sport, while allowing you the time to be involved with your personal interests and even study abroad. The Redhawks compete in the East Coast Conference, and their student athletes excel in the classroom and on the playing field. If you're ready for the challenge of high-level athletics while earning a college degree that will prepare you for the future, visit robertsredhawks.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Safeguarding your freedoms and your future.
Hey, welcome back to A Free Solution, the coolest new show there is. I'm Larry Sharp, host of The Sharp Way. You can find me on The Sharp Way on all the internet things, Facebook and YouTube and all the things. But right now I'm here with the man himself, Kevin Wilson, digital guru, being my co-host today. We're here on WYSL, WENYENI, Elmira Recording, The Patriot, and also WACK, Newark, New York. Feel free to reach out to us, either online if you like, or give us a buzz, 585-346-3000.
Yeah, give us a call. We love hearing from you. And again, shout out to our friends on the A Free Solution Facebook page. We just renamed it. On my Kevin Wilson page, on my Twitter page, YouTube channel. And speaking of YouTube, we got a comment from our friend Garrett. It says, government officials are stuck in the mentality that they must act on every issue in society. This is fundamentally wrong in terms of our founding principles and long-standing moral truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, Gary, I think you're right here. Absolutely. And then just a couple other comments. John says, "Love the Bills hat." Yeah, it was a great victory yesterday. It's very cool watching them beat the Steelers on national TV. And Steven's just giving us a wave. Hey, Steven.
Look, I love the Bills, but I'm a Giant fan. Sorry, guys. I'm a Giant fan. That's how it works.
You're
I live in
Giants.
New York City, so you guys know I am a Giant fan. And I'm a Giant fan even when they suck. And I'm a Giant fan when they're awesome. It doesn't matter. I'm a true blue Giant fan. That's who I am. I know I'm supposed to be a Jets fan 'cause I live in Queens, but I'm not. I'm a Giant fan because I used to live in the Bronx. And for those of you who don't know, there was a short time when the Giants actually played in Yankee Stadium. That is a true thing. It happened in the 70s. I still remember it, and it never went away.
Wow. Now, I actually didn't know that. All I know them is they're the New Jersey teams. Bills are the only New York team. And, so I'm going to root for them.
No, I'm with you. I'm not anti-Bills. I'm just saying
Yes.
the Giants used to play in Yankee Stadium. Come on, that's really cool.
That is pretty cool. I had no idea about that. That is cool.
Yes.
And Giants, they showed some life. They beat the Seahawks a couple weeks back, right? So,
Absolutely. So look, we still got some heart.
that's right.
But I want to go back to what Garrett said. I mean, he's right on the money there. And the thing that bothers me most about that is I'm not surprised that government would want to take over and try to be the hero, right? I get that. They want to come in, show us how cool they are, validate their salaries, validate the fact that they're getting paid even though that others aren't. I get that. My concern is that most people, to Garrett's point, they aren't saying anything. They're actually okay with it. They're like, yes, government, come give us more. Thank you, sir, may I have another? Instead of actually saying, government, can you just let us do some stuff? Can you just let us do some stuff on our own? Can you, instead of trying to enforce your will upon us, can you do what I believe you're supposed to be doing, which is actually supporting our pursuit of happiness?
Wait, hold on. I'm going to do this because you usually do this for yourself. But Larry, Larry, are you, are you saying that like we should do nothing, and particularly in the COVID-19 pandemic, that we should just let people be all alone and suffer on their own as we're trying to battle this pandemic?
It's a great question, and right now they actually are suffering on their own. So let us, that's already happening right now, right? You can see it already. You can see how 55% of all the infections have come from places like big box stores and places like that, not small businesses, not restaurants, not schools, not subways. So we have already set up an environment where people are suffering. We've already set that up, right? So that's already happening. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to do nothing. You can do what good leaders do, which is set the example and create the environment so that people can do well on their own. Think about this for a moment. What if instead of us going, we're going to enforce masks. If you don't wear a mask, you're evil. If you don't wear a mask, you're a bad person. If you don't wear a mask, how evil you are, we're going to fine you. But if we instead did, hey, this is what we believe is right. I'm going to put this up on our website. I'm going to show you what I think is correct. And I'm going to give other people options to tell us what they think is right. And we're going to start sharing data till we find the right answer. If we had done that back in March, imagine where we'd be now. We wouldn't have politicized masks. We wouldn't have politicized anything. We would actually have real answers for all of our problems by now. And I talked about this, by the way, if you care, you can go to my YouTube page, The Sharp Way, and you will see I have 10 videos on that, expressing exactly how to take care of that back from March. This is not Monday morning quarterbacking for me. I had a solution back in March. You can actually do that, and we would have solutions now that were actually tailored to different counties. You do not want Queens to have the same rules as, Rochester. You don't want Monroe County to have the same rules as Hamilton County or Wyoming County. I want different rules for different counties.
Yeah, it makes sense. And, New York, after months of doing the wrong thing, had kind of started to take a more regional approach, which I think is a little bit better than what we were doing before. Slowly, after being pressured a ton, Governor Cuomo will respond to what the actual data on the ground is. And in fact, they did a big contact tracing thing where they said that like 70% of the COVID cases had come from home parties, right? Mm-hmm. And only 0.6% came from gyms and salons.
Yes.
Just a tiny fraction of a percent. finally, but Governor Cuomo's like, well, that's what we can control. And they wanted to look like they were doing something.
Yes.
That was it. They wanted to look like they were taking action rather than looking at the actual situation and thinking like, well, destroying these businesses actually isn't going to prevent that many COVID cases.
Yes. And this is my bigger issue here is, again, back to Garrett's point, people aren't saying this is a bad idea. Good leadership, and if you ask someone what good leadership is, they'll agree with me, but then they won't ask for it. Good leadership is not me saying, everybody stay in your house, I got this, don't worry, Kevin, I think you're a child, I'm the adult, I will do everything for you. No, good leadership is, Kevin, I need you. Come on, brother, get up with me, let's fix this. Show me what you can do. Come on, in fact, get your neighbors. Let's go together. That's what good leadership is. And we're not seeing it, and we're not even asking for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And instead what they did at the beginning of the pandemic is, they lied to people about masks. They said, don't go and get them because they thought people were too dumb to not hoard masks, and they ended up being counterproductive and eroding trust.
Yes. You've hit it perfectly. The erosion of trust is the thing that's crushing us right now more than anything, right? Get a mask, don't get a mask. Oh, the subways are going to be killers. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, schools are going to be killers. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, this is a super spreader. Or no, it's not. So how do we know? Why would they be upset that we don't trust them? Look at what you did.
Yeah, exactly. No, they've showed that, we can't earn their trust. And instead, you're right. What we should be doing, and people are starting to wake up to this. Okay, if most cases are coming from home parties, all right, you can throw the hammer down and say no gatherings of more than 10 people. Or you can say, okay, well, if you're going to have these parties, if you're going to go and try to see your family for the holidays and make these decisions, here are the different ways that you can keep yourself safer. It's the same way, just harm reduction.
Yes.
The same thing we apply to all sorts of other stuff, Why not just say, okay, well, if you're going to go and do this, here are some ways to keep yourselves a little bit safer.
Absolutely. Or if we had just allowed people to come up with answers. Small businesses, we would have seen what works and what doesn't work. But something else, we would have known who actually is at risk here, right? Am I having a party at my house with 6 people who are 20-somethings? And, I get it, be safe, but the world's not going to end. Am I bringing grandma over who's got emphysema? I really better be safe, because COVID's going to kill her. And I should know that, and I should act accordingly. And it shouldn't be an act of rebellion. It should be an act of intelligence and savviness and being smart with people who you love. But I'll add one more step. We wouldn't have rushed to have so many home parties if we weren't crushed from having them outside every place. I mean, they've created this environment and now they're mad that we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Although, that reminds me, it's no longer a philosophical question of when does an outside structure become just a building? I'm gonna ask that. Yes. It's so I don't want to knock these restaurants, but there's restaurants in my area where it's a patio or a what you got a wooden structure that they've wrapped in plastic except for one doorway hole, and they put heaters in there. I'm isn't this feels like it's just outside or inside now.
Yes, and that's the point. What did they expect they were going to do? These businesses are going to go under. And you know what the positivity rate for restaurants is in New York City? 1.4%. 1.4%. Why are they hammering restaurants? Why are they destroying the only thing left in my city? I know a lot of our listeners aren't in New York City, but I care about my city. And Rochester's a big city too. Yeah. I mean, why are they destroying these cities?
Because they can. That's what they can act on.
Yes.
And that's what's important. All right. So thanks again for joining us for A Free Solution. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. I'm Kevin Wilson and Larry Sharp here as well.
All right, guys. See you after the break.
listening to the voice of liberty. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center. For tonight, we'll be looking at cloudy skies. It will turn windy and colder. There could be a couple of flurries, a few light lake effect snow showers, maybe a little coating out there, temps in the 20s. Wind chill in the teens. On Tuesday, a cold day in the 20s. Mostly cloudy. Wednesday will be cloudy with maybe a little light snow developing late in the day or at night. I'm Rich Cordelia, WYSL.
Now is a great time to shop at Victor Chevrolet. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Winter driving is safe and fun when you lease the 2020 Equinox front-wheel drive LS. Just $129 a month for 36 months. Or buy it for just $24,990. Or enjoy the versatility of a tough and roomy 2021 Silverado LST. Lease for only $229 a month for 36 months. Or buy it for just $43,990. Lease a 2020 Chevy Trax LS front-wheel drive for just $89 a month for 36 months.
For Equinox, Trax, or Trailblazer, must have current lease and household. 10,000 miles per year. $2,500 cash or trade. First payment, tax, acquisition, and DMV fees are all due at signing for all leases.
Would you prefer to buy? Save big when you buy a 2019 Trax LT all-wheel drive with convenience package, power drive seat, and keyless entry and start. MSRP $26,145. Buy it now for just $19,990. This winter, find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor.
Visit VictorChevrolet.com.
Tax season is upon us once again. Whether you're looking for small business or individual tax return services, you need to know how the recent CARES Act provisions have affected your tax situation. Issues to consider: stimulus checks, early retirement distributions, PPP loans, and much more. Better get the A-team on your side. Paget Business Services in Caledonia has the experience and expertise to help benefit you the most. They use state-of-the-art tax software, and owner Ben Guerrera has many years of experience. This year, with new COVID-related changes, don't even think about struggling with generic tax prep software or trying to work with a relative or friend. There's a lot new to know. So call Paget Business Services in Caledonia to make your tax appointment. Get peace of mind this tax season and head into 2021 with confidence. Paget Business Services, preparing individual and small business tax returns since 1991. Call 538-2501. That's 538-2501. You can also visit their website at PagetBusinessServices.com/Caledonia.
Grab a pen. I'm going to give you a phone number in a moment for attorney Christopher Johnson. Chris handles car and motorcycle accident cases and DWIs and serious personal injury cases. More on that in a moment. Let's talk about big law firm advertising. You can't miss it these days. The millions lawyers spend on promotion brings in a lot of clients. That's good for the lawyer, not so good for you. The more cases a lawyer has, the less attention you get. If there's an accident or other incident, you want to feel like you're Chris Johnson's only client. So this is the number you want in your glove compartment for serious vehicle accidents or DWIs. 585-415-3803. 415-3803. At that number, you'll get individual attention and integrity, experience, and expertise. One more thing. Any so-called guarantee from a lawyer is neither not real or worthless. Understand, no attorney charges a fee until you win. So write it down, 585-415-3803. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson, attorney, personal injury, car, or motorcycle accidents, DWI defense.
Imani, time for school, baby. Imani, time for school. Imani, it's time.
A different couch, a different floor, the backseat of a car. Over 2,000 Rochester school-aged children are homeless, but now there is hope. The Open Door Mission Cold Water House for moms and their children. OpenDoorMission.com/doves.
Great care depends on strong connections. And in this time of rapidly changing healthcare needs, United Healthcare is helping you stay connected to the people and services you depend on in many important ways. From virtual doctor visits to prescriptions delivered by mail to 24/7 one-on-one support. When you choose United Healthcare Medicare Advantage Plan, we'll help you get the care you need quickly and easily. To learn more, call United Healthcare today. 1-844-250-8354. Benefits and availability may vary by plan and location.
Fix It Via Video, a new video chat-based repair service. They guide you through troubleshooting of power equipment, including snowblowers. Don't let a blizzard get the best of you. Be prepared. Check out fixitchat.live.
Hey, it's Nick Cole from Business in Your Backyard. I am always looking to tell stories of local businesses in our community. If you or someone you know would like to be featured on my show, please send me an email, businessinyourbackyard@gmail.com. And don't forget, tune into the show Fridays at 6:30 p.m. right here on WYSL.
Glenn Beck, weekdays 9 to noon on AM 1040, FM 92.1 and 95.5 West.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. Oh, I almost said the last show name. We were formerly Radio Free New York. Guys, similar show. Similar like bumper music, too.
Yeah, but now we're cooler because the name's cooler. Everything's better. We are a cooler show. So those of you who are like, you know what, I like this show, but it isn't cool enough. Well, now it is. So listen in because it is cooler. And now you're so lucky you got both of us, me and Kevin. Kevin, the digital guru, and me, the guy from Sharpway. Come on. You can't beat that, can you?
That's right. That's good stuff right there.
Absolutely.
Again, thanks, folks, for listening all over the place. Get more comments online. Another one from Garrett says, like Larry has said, role in COVID should be a repository of information. No mandates, just information and guidance. Society and the market create solutions that work.
Absolutely. You know, the repository for information piece actually makes it to where we trust government more. When you just say, hey, CDC says this is now the law, this is now, the gospel, this is, Moses came down from the mountain and this is what he said. When you start doing that and then it's wrong, people go, I don't trust you anymore. But if you say, here's what we believe is true, and will allow others to say what they believe is true, you actually believe the government more, right? It's like a Yelp review. If everything's a 5-star, you start thinking, But if it's a couple 3 stars, you go, you know what? If there's 75 5s and 2 3s, those 3 guys are probably just jerks. I believe the 5s even more. The same thing applies, Garrett. You are exactly correct.
Yeah, and it's going to be incredibly important in the next few months, too. I think that there's a lot of people now who don't trust the emerging COVID vaccines, kind of for similar reasons, is they now have gotten so much misinformation from governments, and this is a both party thing. This is the Trump White House, the Republicans, the Democrats in New York State. Like, this is all over. This isn't like just a one party problem. This is government all over.
Yes, absolutely. Right, government trying to be the hardcore leader that is never wrong and is always right. And, if you've got to always be right, why should I trust you? Right? That's the problem, right? If you've got to always be, what the old thing I say in leadership, if you've got to always yell, I'm the boss, you're not the boss, man. You think you are, but you're not. If you got to keep telling me you're the boss, something's wrong. And I think that's what's happening now with government.
Yeah, no, well, man, I'm trying to think. There's like a good Game of Thrones thing that Tyrion had said. But I'm gonna not remember. I'm gonna have to look it up in a minute. But basically, if you've got to there's a difference between power and authority.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we're seeing here in terms of government. And if you've got to use force to boss people around to get people to do what you want, then you're starting to lose that legitimate authority, and people are going to not cooperate with it. They're going to challenge you.
And that's what we're finding, right? You saw it in Jersey with the people who were much more left-leaning, who were trying to support the people who were detained in some facility, right? And literally they arrested 6 or 7 people, and they're fighting cops. And a big problem, of course, you're fighting authority because you're not believing it, you're not trusting it. Exactly. But then look at Staten Island. These people are more right-leaning, and they were fighting the cops because they're shutting down Max Pub. So you got the left and the right both saying, cops, you're wrong, authority, you're wrong, in the streets. You're right, it's not just Democrat, Republican. It's us who are now finding ourselves in positions of desperation. Look, the average person, and look, I'm not anti or pro cop. My father was in law enforcement, and my mother was a convicted felon, so I understand both sides of this, right? My point is, nobody, whether you like cops or don't like cops or whatever you might think, wants to fight or go against cops. That's not smart. People don't like it. It hurts our society. It's a bad idea, but we're doing it, which means we're desperate. We've been put in a desperate situation to where people are now fighting the cops. This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing at all.
No, it's not a good thing. And in fact, there's interesting studies that suggest it's not good for freedom. But some folks might think like, oh, well, people are challenging the government. That's good. They're questioning the government. Not necessarily, because what ends up happening is people start to, as you start to build mistrust, they say, not I mistrust government as an institution. They say, I mistrust the people who are in charge right now. And if we have our people in charge and they're even better, and maybe, they're cracking down on the people that we don't like, then that's what we need to do. So mistrust in government doesn't necessarily lead to more liberty.
Absolutely. Yes. In fact, the reverse might be true. You're totally correct. And the other thing is, once you start to not believe in this law or that law, now we have to start drawing arbitrary lines on what's a good law and what's a bad law, which I get people do, but do you want to encourage that? Right? Once I start saying the government has no right to do this, don't I start saying, should the government do that or do this? Now, there's a point of that that's very good. Obviously, as a libertarian, when I hold this on my sleeve, there's a part of me that loves that. But I want that to happen in a natural way, to where we can actually shift our culture, change our laws, so that we have a smaller government and that our culture can accept that and our communities can respond effectively. What I would rather not have is all of a sudden tomorrow we decide government's no good and we're going to all of a sudden decide that we're going to overthrow it. Boy, would that be a bad, nasty, horrible idea. And that's my worry. Do we go there and then that's the answer? I'm not a fan of violence.
No, we don't want to go there. It's ugly in all sorts of ways, in terms of people getting hurt and wealth getting destroyed and liberty getting destroyed. Oftentimes, it's not going to turn out to, we're not going to have a great, beautiful libertarian paradise. It's not.
Yes, absolutely, yes. I mean, I think the best example we can see is you look at the French Revolution, right? They said, we're going to get rid of the kings and queens because we care about people. What are we going to install? Napoleon the dictator. See? Way better. Not so much.
Well, and after going through the Robespierre stuff.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, then look at the Russians, right? They said, we're going to get rid of the Tsar. He's a bad guy. What are we going to put in charge? Communism. That'll fix it. Yeah. Didn't go so well there either.
Larry, did that not work out?
Yeah, not as well as they thought. I mean, they didn't have a king, so I guess there was one positive, right? If we're trying to, put some kind of positive spin on this thing, there's something there. No more king. But, I'm not going to say that was the best solution.
No, probably not. So, what would be better is, again, we build that culture of, dismantling the learned helplessness and figuring out ways that communities can build each other up, and that government take a step back, be a repository for trust, and only do the things that are strictly necessary. And I know that's very debatable ground. But
if we're fighting there, Kevin, I'm good. That's a debate that I want to have. I want us to be thinking like that. That's the right answer.
Yeah. But we got to get other people. The other piece I
want to bring up, though, is I do think as we'll talk about solutions, right? I think as we begin to discuss this, the solution in general is openly, aggressively, forwardly trying to create an environment where there can be an alternative to the government monopoly, right? So what is the answer to, oh my God, our economy is collapsing? The answer isn't write a big check to government and try to keep it running a little bit longer. That's not the answer. I mean, if that's what we need to get things going, I get it. I'm not going to fight it. It's going to happen. But what I'm saying is we want to make a situation to where, you know what? Companies can reopen. I want to do things like, we're not getting any taxes anyway, so why don't we instead do things like end sales tax for a year? Or, decide that there's no minimum wage for 3 months to get people in to just start working again. Or decide that for 3 months there's going to be no payroll tax, or something like that. Or we're going to, every certificate of need or every request for an EIN is automatically just accepted. It's a rubber stamp for the next 3 months or 6 months, or whatever the case may be. Something to test the waters, to get people back in action, to get people saying, you know what, no, I'm going to go in there and make things happen. What we've done is reversed. We've said, the government doesn't have money, let's raise taxes and make things harder. I cannot tell you how many people are leaving this state. If you haven't noticed it, you're not paying attention.
Yeah, and we may be about to raise taxes again. I just read a news story about this morning. Maybe we could talk about that after the break. But yeah, it looks like they're trying to raise taxes before 2021. Wow.
That's going to help.
That's right. All right. Thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. Kevin Wilson joined by Larry Sharp. Give us a call, 585-346-3000.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, He is my refuge and my fortress, for He will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
The one media outlet you can count on.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. Yes, I know this is normally where Radio Free New York is, but we're a free solution now. That's what we're focused on.
We're bigger, better, stronger.
That's right. Exactly. So I'm Kevin Wilson, joined by Larry Sharp, who you can catch on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yes.
In this time slot. I'll still be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, doing our thing, focusing on liberty. And speaking of
we're happy to be here as always. You'll see me use Tuesday, Thursdays. Today is a special day because we're the new cool show here. WYSL, WENY, and I, and Elmira Corning, the Patriot. WACK in Newark, New York. Make sure you reach out to us, 585-346-3000. And you can tell me how smart I am or how dumb I am. I don't mind. You can even tell me how handsome I am if you want to. But I got to tell you, Kevin's a good-looking man, too. So I'm not really sure which one of us you're going to think is more handsome. It's going to be a tough call there.
That's right. You can't see that out on the radio, but you just trust. You can hear the voices and just know.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're listening online, you get to see my face, and I do have Larry's face up there. I didn't get the video today, but Larry's face is there. It's just one of the campaign photos you had of you kind of just looking up in your blue suit. Yeah, that's you look like you're looking up at me admiringly, Larry.
I am. You are a good-looking man. I'm like, man, that guy's good-looking. That's what I'm saying. That's it.
Yeah, and we did get a comment, by the way, Tony DeRazio saying, he thinks that we're going to get pushback on the mistrust in government doesn't necessarily lead to more liberty. He says that he agrees with it, but he thinks that's going to surprise some folks. But
I'm not sure. What do you think he means by that?
Well, I think that the intuitive thing for a lot of folks is to say that, if we trash government and we talk about how much government is terrible, that people will want to dismantle the government and will want more freedom. And that's weirdly not necessarily the case.
Right. They don't like this government. Let's just use our government. That'll be way better.
Yeah, that's what it ends up leading to is people we just need to build a better government.
Right. Yes.
What ends up happening.
See, if just my guys would enforce their will upon you, it'd be way better than their guys enforcing their will upon you.
Yeah. So you got to have an alternative to that. You got to start looking at other things okay, how can we have economic freedom? How do businesses thrive in environments where there aren't crazy amounts of burdensome regulations? What happens if we let people just enjoy personal freedom?
Oh, can't do that.
Crazy
Come on.
thought. I know. That's ridiculous. We're not going to go there. And speaking of not having economic freedom, it looks like the New York State Legislature, which is going to have a supermajority of Democrats soon, in the Senate and in the Assembly, and Your Majesty, King Cuomo.
Yes, His Majesty. Yes, His Majesty King Andrew Cuomo II. Oh, hail the king.
That's right. So it looks like they want to tax the rich because New York State has massive budget gaps. And I see this. I work with and understand organizations that are seeing the consequences of these budget gaps. They're losing money from the state. They're freaked out. So New York State, what's they going to do? Well, we need to bring in more revenue because, businesses have been destroyed in the last year. And now, well, what do you got to do? Well, you got to take that money from somewhere, or so they say. So they're going to tax the rich. Larry, good idea or great idea?
Well, I think the best of all ideas. I'll go even further. I mean, what I've noticed throughout history is every time you decide to tax and punish the rich, it never goes wrong. It always goes perfectly, swellingly well, and they never revolt or pack up and leave or find ways to control the government or find ways to screw people otherwise. That happens exactly never. If, and this is one minor caveat, if you don't count always, if you don't count every single time, it never happens. So that's kind of how I'm putting my one minor caveat there. Now, you can see it already in New York City. People are packing up and leaving. The wealthy are leaving. So their answer to more taxes is leaving. So you would think, if you're a New Yorker, that you would want people to stay and fight. I do. That's what I would like. You would think you'd want to. You would think that if you were in government, you'd want more people to stay to make the state better. So what is their answer? Here's what we'll do. We've been having such a terrible environment, a crushing environment, that has made people literally pack up and leave. So what we'll do is the people who are staying, we'll punish them more because that'll work. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Yeah, that's never worked, and we're still doing it.
That's the state motto. That's the unofficial thing. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Yep.
I love that.
That's what we go by.
That you know what? That is our state motto. I'm going to use that from now. Our state motto. Perfect. And so accurate.
So, yeah, we might be seeing taxes go up on the ultra wealthy. And the progressives say, well, it doesn't affect you. You're not going to be taxed. But it does affect me because ultimately it is very easy to move. It doesn't. A lot of people just say, all right, well, forget it. I'm going to go to a state with no income tax. And a lot of people love New York. They love, New York State wherever they live, but they don't like the government. And there's not that much incentive to stay if, half of your income's being taken.
Well, here's the worst part you've just brought up, right? When you start making massive taxes against the rich, well, you're going to have to lower what rich is, right? Is rich $400,000 a year? $200,000 a year? $100,000 a year? Well, as the rich pack up and leave, because to your point, if you're not wealthy, it's hard to move, particularly if you're middle class, or your house is underwater, or you're paying heavy rent, or you're behind, or you want to move someplace where others are moving and there's not many job opportunities. But if you're wealthy, you've already got 2 homes. You've got one in New York and one someplace else. You just shut the one down in New York and move to the other one and buy a second or third house when you have time, whenever, because you're wealthy. It's easy for you to leave. So as the wealthy leave, the people who service the wealthy also leave. A lot of their juniors also leave. But not just that. As those jobs begin to go away, then we have to begin to lower what wealthy is. Or it doesn't work because the wealthy have left. So now wealthy was at 400, now it's at 2. Oh, they all leave? Now it's at 1. So, yeah, it may not affect you directly. The progressives may be right at that. It's true. But it will affect you real soon when either they lower the standards or you can't get a job or you can't find customers because they've all left.
Yeah, exactly. It has a cascading effect.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, we're stuck in a position. Well, New York State right now, what they're hoping for is they're hoping for a bailout. They're still... Yep. Hanging on, if the federal government bails them out. But I don't think it's going to work like that. I think even if there does end up being a bailout, I had a great discussion with the Livingston County supervisor a few weeks back about this. What might end up happening is that, well, the federal government, if they do this, and they might not, is they might only do it for money lost because of COVID. Now, if you had long-term structural financial issues that predate the issues related to COVID, you might still be in trouble. And guess what? New York's still going to be in trouble.
Yes. And this is what I say, COVID, and it's going to sound horrible, please take it the right way, was the best thing that could have happened to Cuomo. Because Cuomo now can blame 10 years of terrible governing on, well, it's because of, COVID. New York was perfect with my awesome leadership until all of a sudden COVID hit. And, of course, Trump gave me COVID because it's Trump's fault. And if it wasn't for Trump, we wouldn't have COVID. And he somehow hurt us because Orange Man's still bad, even though he won't be, in office next year, he'll still be Orange Man bad. But it also gave something else. With Biden becoming president in January, he can now escape and become the AG if he needs to. So he can escape it if he wants to, or use Trump as a scapegoat. Not a bad deal if you're His Majesty.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, now we got his. We haven't talked about this though, but there's some accusations against him.
Oh, yes.
Which, maybe we'll have to talk about later this week. But we do only have a little bit left, Larry. So, again, we've retitled the show. It's a free solution. You can still find us on YouTube, on Facebook, on the radio, and on podcasts, too. We are on podcasts. You can find us on Anchor and Apple Podcasts and any sort of places you can find podcasts. It goes out everywhere. Got a nice feed. So subscribe to us there. If you can't listen to us live, it's a great place to listen to us. Yeah, Larry, anything else to add to that?
Noon every day, Monday through Friday. You can see the super cool Kevin Wilson, Digital Guru, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And me, host of The Sharp Way, Larry Sharp, is Tuesday, Thursday. Please follow me on all the things internet, Facebook,